Today we're working with our friends at Power Lodge Bike Barn in beautiful Sauk Rapids, Minnesota.
Hi folks, I'm Ian with Two Guys Ride, and today I'm in beautiful Sauk Rapids, Minnesota, and I'm here at the Bike Barn, Power Lodge Bike Barn, and I'm here with Pete. Pete, thanks for being with me today.
Thanks, Nathan.
And what are we taking a look at?
This is the Kawasaki Ridge Ranch Edition. So, new unit that came to the market this last year. Phenomenal performance, power, just a great unit.
All right, well, let's start at the front here. LED, I'm assuming headlamps.
LED automotive lights that even actually have a delay, so when you shut it off, they stay on for a little bit.
Oh, really? Like a car does, so
Yeah,
like for 10 seconds, so you can make your way through the trees to your cabin.
That's right. And it even has lights inside on the floor, so you can kind of see on the floor. So
okay,
that's one of the things that's on all of those units.
All right.
This particular unit does come standard with a 4,500-pound winch.
Ooh.
So you got that app.
Is this the standard bumper?
This is the standard bumper.
Wow.
They do make additional ones that can go on here, but this one gives you a really good protection.
Yeah, no
As you
kidding.
can see, the wheels out far enough so that you're not going to have branches and stuff hitting the front of your unit.
Okay, let's talk about tires for a minute. What do we have for tire sizes?
This is going to have a 27-inch Duro on, off-road tire, you know, a little bit of a rumble. Some guys switch over to like more of a street tire if they drive on the road, but this gives you good traction in the dirt and the mud and the loose.
Which is kind of where it's meant to be.
For the most part, yes.
All right,
Yep.
suspension?
Suspension's unique to Kawasaki. It's A-arm suspension, however, they don't have sway bars or, you know, limiters.
Okay.
So that suspension can articulate on each wheel separately.
Oh, nice.
Kawasaki believes that you want to keep those tires on the ground. I personally own a Ridge, so I actually have an XR. I cranked my rear suspension up, so it really makes it solid so you don't feel the body roll.
So it is somewhat adjustable.
It is.
Okay.
Yes. So that helps dramatically, and I like it. The one thing is, like, you go through a ditch where another unit that we have here, a different brand, I mean, I get wheels off the ground. That Ridge, it really does suck and hold the ground.
Okay.
So if you are doing off-road stuff, it holds it down, and it really does keep contact with the ground.
And suspension is adjustable both front and rear?
Correct.
Okay.
Yep.
All right. Now, let's take a look underneath here, because usually,
Absolutely.
typically, there are some things underneath here for the do-it-yourself.
And it just comes forward, 2 slots.
Okay.
You got your radiator as well as your overflow here.
Okay.
And then you got some fuses and circuit breakers and so forth in here.
Okay.
For the unit. Kawasaki on these new Ridges too has power ports, you know, or basically run power. So the winch has a port up here. So if you do buy one that doesn't have it, you actually don't have to start running wires to get here. You can just do hookups to that.
Okay, so it's kind of pre-run.
And there's one behind the box as well as stuff in the dash.
Nice. It makes it easy to add accessories.
It does. It makes it easier for the do-it-yourselfer too that, you know, doesn't want to pay for a professional. So just helps them out a lot.
We don't know any of those people.
There's a couple.
All right. Now, you want me to hold that for a minute? Well, because there's something unique
really
about
cool.
this.
So if you're driving through the weeds and all that stuff, you can pop this thing out, and then you can wash that grill out.
That is
and
nice.
You know, I saw in a bunch of blogs this last winter after I bought mine. It was really cold out, you know, and they couldn't figure out how in the God's green earth were they going to put a cold front on this. Well, I tell you, a little cling wrap I took and I wrapped it around there, and it was in there all winter long, and the heater works just fine without the cold front, but when it's colder in hell, you got to actually turn it down. It'll smoke you right out of the cab. So
okay, well, that's what you want.
Nice.
It's good.
I
like that, though, that it comes right out. That's I've never seen that.
It's something they're doing on a lot of models today on different brands too. But it makes it accessible, and you can keep that clean. You know, if you have the high vac unit, for instance, you want to keep that stuff clean so you got your air flowing through there. It's a nice feature.
That is. All right, let's put this, I'll let you slide this back on here.
Just 2 little slots there, pops back, get her down, and then it just pops in.
All right, so this comes with the built-in windshield?
It doesn't, but we added these accessories on here, kind of a package.
Okay.
You know. So this does have the Kawasaki glass windshield. If you had a high vac unit, it actually has the wiper would mount right down.
Oh, right there, sure.
So everybody else is up on top.
Yep.
Now I'm a tall guy. It blocks my vision. So that's another reason I went with the Ridge, because it's down here and it's not blocking my vision. So I can see stuff if I'm out on
Easier.
a trail or on a county road. I can see people coming. It's not blocking my vision. So it makes it nice. And then the washer port, you know, to spray would be right there.
Right there. All right. So those are also options that you can add, obviously.
Yes.
Okay. Does the windshield pop out at all?
This is a fixed one. They do have a tilt out one that is available.
All right. And that's a manual tilt out, I'm assuming.
Correct.
Okay. All right. Let's walk around. Let's walk around that side. Take a look at it. Okay, so over here on the side, this one does come with, what are the accessories?
So this is an accessory add-on. It's a soft top is what they call it. So when you buy it, it's going to be right below. It actually has a door.
Okay.
But then you add this soft top. Now the nice thing about this, it actually is like an infused plastic, canvas into plastic, and then there's a steel frame in here with a really good rubber seal. So it does actually seal up, where it's probably the nicest I've seen on the market.
It is a nice one.
The other thing is, so this does zip out. And you can zip it completely out, or you can roll it up and keep it fixed in here by just taking and popping
Just
this
a quick
on.
snap in there.
Right. And then if you wanted, like for my purposes, if I had this, I would actually have my wife build a couple sleeves and I'd put them in there and put them inside. I'd want to keep them with, because if you're out riding on the trails, all of a sudden you get inclement weather or something comes up, you can take them and zip them back in, and you can stay nice and dry in here. It really seals up really well.
Okay, do they sell another option that's got power windows? Or at least
you can
manual?
buy power doors, and that's on all the high vac units that will have power windows.
Okay.
It's, you know,
You assume on something like this that someone's got open air movement already.
right.
Doors,
And this
so.
is kind of their base unit that they came out with. The big thing, you get that winch on there as part of the equipment that it comes
And the
with.
doors are standard? These,
The doors,
this
the
part?
lower parts are standard.
Okay,
Yes.
all right.
So you don't have any of the nets that are annoying and stuff like that.
Which allows you to get rid of those arms that are on the side.
Right. And then, you know, it opens like your truck. So all these units that you have in the market that you got to back on the damn trailer and piss around, you put this on your trailer, you pull it on normal, and you come to the stoplight and the door pops open, you look in your mirror like, holy shit, the door's open? That's all you do is you run back and slam it. It does it on one of the other ones, and guess what? You got $3,000-$4,000 worth of damage.
Yeah,
So that's a beauty.
that is really nice.
So, and it's easy to get in also. It's got a huge opening once you open it. There's no obstructions. Makes
all right,
it very nice.
we'll get in there in just a minute.
So-
Let's continue down the side here. I see you got a fuel fill right here.
That's right.
And then this is, of course, a manual tilt.
Right. And it
Well,
opens-
actually, does it have an assisted?
it has an assisted shock.
It does.
You know, one thing too,
I mean, I know you're strong,
if
but
you're doing a video on this thing, see there'll be pressure in there.
Yeah.
I see on all the blogs, people are all worried about that. That's something that happens on Kawasaki, the way they're set up. Nothing to worry about. That's the way it is. Sometimes it'll blow that cap right out of your hand, but there will be pressure on there.
Okay, but
There's
that's
nothing
normal.
wrong. It's normal. There's nothing wrong with it.
Okay.
Yep. Absolutely.
All right, so while we're here, let's talk about the engine. What does it have?
It's got a 4-cylinder inline 999
Oh, wow.
cc Kawasaki motor.
Okay.
It runs, it will rev high RPMs. It's made that way. It's able to do it. It's just like their bikes. It's a great engine.
And of course, it's 2-wheel drive, 4-wheel drive, and we'll get, I
Yep.
believe, right? You can
Yep.
switch. Okay.
Yep.
And we'll talk more about that on the inside. But okay, now let's talk about some simple things like we did in the front. Like if you're do-it-yourselfer,
Right.
where's your oil filter?
So-
Where's your dipstick? Where's
First, this little portion comes out real easily.
Okay.
And then you can take off your belt cover. So you have really easy access. So if you got to do belt maintenance, any CVT transmission, and almost everybody in the market other than Honda
Right.
is CVT. But this one makes it so you're easy to get in there and do your maintenance. So if you know something about it, you can do it.
Okay.
Super simple.
Now, what about oil filter and air cooler, air filter? Can't think.
The oil filter is going to be down on the lower right side of the back of the motor.
Okay.
Really accessible.
Twist off?
Twist off filter. They are on there tight. I noticed that 13 pounds of torque
Yeah,
is what
a
they
lot.
require on that. And the drain plug's 15 because I do my own stuff. And
Yep.
God, you know, I'm a little big, torque is an issue.
Yeah.
So, and then your oil check is going to be on the right side of the engine with a dipstick, as well as your fill is right on top on the right side. So it's really easy. 15 minutes, I can change my oil.
What about the air filter? How do you access that?
That's from inside the cab.
Okay, we'll look at that in a minute then.
Yep.
Okay, well, let's put this down.
Sure. Now,
And we're going to talk about this bed. So LED taillights in the back?
LED taillights, yeah.
Okay, now, does it have turn signals as well?
It doesn't. Nobody in the industry has that as a standard here. I'm not quite sure why. I mean, hopefully someday somebody will wake up, because it would be nice. Trails.
It would.
You know, they just don't want it to be on the road. It's considered an off-road vehicle. Every brand has that same theory. But I believe they should have them on standard, but we can put them on. It's something that almost everybody does. I mean, if you're on the trail, then you can indicate where you're going, and that's a nice feature.
Okay, let's open the bed here and take a look at this. Wow. Okay, so it's tall, it's wide.
It does. It's got nice tie downs in it. It also has holes for your Kawasaki clamps, KQR clamps they call them. So one of the options that I have in my unit is a toolbox from Kawasaki, and that fits right in there, and it clamps in, so I can take it in and out in like a minute.
So, and it goes from the
all the way across.
So then underneath you still have storage.
You could actually set your height on it, yes, because you will notice too that the box is deeper in the rear, so it's got a natural incline, so the water and stuff and mud and debris actually run out while you're riding. That's the purposes for that. So you don't have it full of stuff.
I see they're expecting you to have a few friends. You got the 4 cup holders.
Yeah, so you can set some stuff here, whether it's a cup or a beer, or you know, something when you're working on stuff, so it doesn't tip over. Yeah. One more feature that people don't realize on this Kawasaki that's unique to this unit and some of the other Kawasaki's like the MX, the rear 2-inch receiver that it has is flush with the rear. So when you're trailering stuff, that pivot point, having it out there, if you got jacks and things, it's easy to use. It's exceptional for hooking stuff up, and it's just a great pivot point where you're not way underneath your machine trying to hook stuff up. That's a Kawasaki classic. That's a great idea. Makes it easy for the customer to use. That's 2,500 pounds of towing that this unit has also.
2,500 pounds of towing.
Yep.
That is nice. And I'll say that for a variety of reasons. We were just talking, but I have an older Kawasaki, and my hitch comes out a little bit.
Yep.
And oftentimes, if I'm not careful, if I have this door down and I let the bed, because my bed goes straight up.
Right.
Right. And yeah, I've caught it a couple times, so my back door is a little, a little used.
And that's that longer box you were talking about. So it
sticks out a little bit more.
What you're
but
doing.
This is a deep bed. I mean, I don't know what the dimensions are, but my gosh, it's wide and deep.
Yep.
All right. Well, you know what? Let's step on the inside and take a look at it. There's some nice features in there. All right. Oh, look at that interior.
So it's kind of got a nice design. It's the Ranch, you know, Kawasaki, you know, they build these things here in the United States, but it's the Ridge. It's kind of the Ranch. It's the Rancher Edition. This does fold down for you, so you got some cup holders, which is kind of nice, but it folds up and has that seat belt in the middle, so you can have 3 people, which is really cool. The seat folds up here. You got a lot of space if you want to put some work stuff in here.
There goes your 5-gallon pail.
Yep, and here you pop this out, and your air cleaner's right here. Very accessible.
Ah, okay.
So that's huge. Again, if you're the do-it-yourselfer.
Yes.
And there's a couple slots in there that pops right in. Some people will actually put a little cover of insulation in there once they buy them. It doesn't have it in there.
Because just the motor sound.
Just to quiet it up and keep any heat coming out.
All right.
Then you got a glove box here, which you got a port for your winch. So that gives your lanyard. So if you're the guy that does a snowplow or something, you can have your lanyard to use. And that book in there doesn't belong in there, so that'll close nicely. You get a little spot in here, and this has got the USB ports in here. There's a couple in there if you want to see those. So everybody's got their electronics, whether it's GPSs or phones. You got that to plug in there. You do have a 12-volt power port here, another one to put in there. And then there's just a storage here where some of the higher end models do have a Garmin GPS, and you can buy an intuitive dash that Kawasaki has that would have a screen in that hooks to speakers with a AM/FM receiver, as well as Apple CarPlay and stuff in there.
Okay, so that's available. This particular model does not have that.
It does not. It just added accessories. And without the high back, they have a storage in here also. So, and now if you bought a high vac unit, that would be the controls for it.
Okay.
So that's the deal there.
All right.
That's a nice little spot to put stuff.
Okay, so traditional gear shift handle, no push button here. All right, so what is this? Because I'm laughing at the title because it says Ice Crusher Heater.
That is a company in Rogers, Minnesota that puts out a heater system. They do it there. They make them custom for each unit. We were lucky enough to have them use this unit to set it up. It has a high and low function. You got your vents up here as well as the vents here. And there's a couple down here on the floor for floor heat.
Okay, so it's an aftermarket company that installed it, but nicely they put the switch right in the dash.
Right.
And then you got the vents up here
What's
and over
really
there.
cool is if you close these vents, it really kicks the air out of the air here. So the biggest issue you're going to have is getting that windshield clear when you're doing stuff. So that really does a nice job.
Okay, now you got, of course, your emergency brake.
Yep.
Right there.
You don't have a park function in Kawasaki. Just one less thing to brake is the way I look at it. So you got low, high, and reverse.
Right, you just set the emergency brake. Yeah, that's been for ever since I think they started.
It's something that Kawasaki does, simplicity, and that's what builds their quality. Because one thing about a Kawasaki is you get a 3-year factory warranty on all their side-by-sides. Nobody else does that. I mean, some come up to 2. You pay a lot of money, you know, I mean, 20, 30,000, whatever, 3 years, that's pretty cool.
Yeah.
They stand behind what they build.
Now, right down here, you've got a switch.
And that's your 2-wheel drive and then your 4-wheel drive. So that'll lock the rear and front to like a 2-wheel wonder. And then when you go all the way to lock, it locks the rear end. So then you got a limited slip in the front. In the XR models, it actually locks all 4 wheels.
Okay.
So that's just a different model, step up.
And this, I believe, is just a drive mode, power, like sport and normal.
You've got a work mode, a normal mode, and a sport mode. And that changes your throttle response.
Okay.
So it's just, you know, the sport obviously is just going to fly and go like hell. So it really moves out there.
All right. Tiltable steering wheel?
Yes.
Okay. And I do notice you do have a screen here.
Yep.
This is basically driving functions.
Right. And now when you turn the key on, it'll come up. And then that'll clear off when you start driving, or you can clear it. Now there's 3 different screens that you can have up on this unit. I like the one that it comes from the factory, large in part because it shows me my water temperature and it shows me my CVT temperature right on the screen. So I can monitor, all of a sudden I know what normal is, and if something spikes or something. So you as the owner, you kind of get a feel for it, and at least you know that it's not operating in normal function, so then you can actually have something looked at if there is an issue.
Okay.
So I really like that.
Now you mentioned it has 3 screens. What's this? What are the other 2?
Let's see here. You can go to that, and let's see, select. There's a few functions here that, let's see.
All right, so you have meter, vehicle information.
Settings, you go to here, and then display, you select it. And now, we're going to do mode, and then we'll just go through those. There's the one screen.
Okay.
Here's the next one, kind of a traditional.
Yeah.
And then you go back to the. That's normal.
I like that. I like there's a little customization, but a lot of information packed into the screen.
Right.
What it doesn't have is like a radio built into it, because
it does not.
But it has a ton of things for just the display.
You can see on here that you got display, you got clock time. You also have a service thing, so you can set your service intervals on this particular unit. All of them. The first oil change is 120 miles. After that, it's going to be 600, 600, 1200. And after that, 2,500 once a year.
Okay.
And it also
you can hook up through Bluetooth.
Yep.
So it must have a speaker of some sort.
It's more for vehicle function that they have through Kawasaki. So
okay. All right. That's what it is. Yep. And change your units.
So, and then you got to go back up to get to. Now you do actually have, you see, camera on there. So on the nicer units, you have front and rear cameras.
Okay.
The high vac units also have some function. One thing too on a high vac, so this panel comes out and you'll see there's another power spot in here.
Yes.
But there's usually a cab filter in your high vac units, and that's how you access it. So if you're always looking for that, or if you want a high vac so that you know it does have a cab filter.
Okay.
And it does do its job. At 1,200 miles in my unit, that sucker was full. I was driving on the trails, and
Yeah.
my cab was really dust free, but the filter was full, so it did its job. Yes, absolutely.
All right. So just real quick over here. So the top two buttons obviously control the screen.
Yep.
The bottom left is your winch,
Yep.
and then your
And
headlights.
then your headlights here. So off, and then regular and bright. And these lights, I'm telling you,
Okay, so they do have dim and bright.
you have to dim them because you will blind people. It's like a new vehicle. I mean,
Really, they're bright.
I hear people want to, you can add light bars and all that,
Yeah.
but the thing is nice. I mean, it's bright. You just
The way
point
it is.
that into the woods where you thought that deer went last, and it lights up the whole woods. So you can walk in there and not fumble around with a flashlight. It really does have some really good lighting.
I just mention you got a grab handle on the top.
And that's largely part because if you got a center person in here, they do have something to hold on to. You know, the old oh shit handle. they call it.
Yep.
And they have one here for the passenger on the outside
Yeah.
part. So it's nice safety features that they can hold on.
You do have a cup holder on that side. You got a
Both
cup holder
sides,
on
yeah.
this side.
And then you got two in
And
here.
then two down in the center armrest as well. And then we already mentioned the window on this one is not adjustable, but you can get an adjustable window if you want.
And they have half shields too if you wanted. But
Okay. So, wow. All right, I just have a couple more questions. Pete, why don't we step outside and we'll wrap up here with a few questions. All right, so Pete, just a couple more questions. One is if I wanted to buy one of these, you know, at Power Lodge Bike Barn here in Sauk Rapids,
Yep.
what's the availability? Do you have in stock?
I do have this one. I don't have any more of these right now. I do have high vacs. I've got them in crew cabs and regular cabs. And I do have the XR. The XR is going to be the 116 horse. This is 92 horse.
Okay.
They run a 30-inch tire on the XR. These, they run 27. I don't feel a big difference in power just because of that, you know, different tire size. But they both perform really well.
All right. If you had to order one, like you want to custom something you didn't have,
Yep.
how long does it take to make an order?
Kawasaki does have availability, so we can get them. Some, you know, it just depends. But sometimes they're here in a week, and sometimes they're here in 3 weeks.
Okay, so we're not talking 3 years when we had
No.
COVID and no one could get anything.
No.
Okay, so it's a reasonable amount of time. Okay, what does Kawasaki offer for a warranty?
3-year warranty, best in the industry.
3 years. I mean, that's just way beyond.
Everybody,
Anyone else.
nobody compares. Kawasaki strong, and the beauty too, you can extend it with a factory warranty up to 48 more months,
Okay.
and it's very cost effective.
Okay. And then my last question is, this is the base model.
Yep.
So what are we looking at around for prices?
This one's $22,999.
All right. Well, Pete, thank you so much for spending your time with us today, going through this beautiful Kawasaki. What an awesome machine.
It is.
Thanks for watching.